Welcome to the Young CEO Mastermind Call. We have these every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host. My name is Andre Kennedy, aka Free Play Dre, and you guys can follow my socials here: Facebook Andre Kennedy, Instagram Free Play Dre, and YouTube Free Play Dre. And got a couple topics today. Specifically, we are going to be talking about credit utilization. But first and foremost, I just want to give you a backstory. So my name is Andre Kennedy. I'm 31 years old, and I've successfully acquired over $150,000 worth of credit capital. Okay, I do have, a big stack of credit cards here, and these are pretty much various limits. And along this credit journey, I've learned and I've applied a lot of different strategies, and I'm here to help you guys to get to that same level to where now I'm sitting on $150,000 worth of credit capital, and I'm able to, at any given time, purchase investments, business opportunity investments that can then generate cash flow, which allows me to now be financially free. Okay. I have so much time on my hands as an entrepreneur. A lot of people say, you're so busy throughout the day as an entrepreneur, but I've structured my life to be able to have passive income streams to where I pretty much cannot go to work on a day-to-day basis. Well, besides what I do here, YouTube videos and, coaching my students, which I don't really call that work, but I'm able to have that type of free time to be able to operate the way that I choose to operate, right? And I'm not struggling to pay my bills because my bills are taken care of by the assets that I have, okay? And that's the objective, right? To become eventually financially free, to be able to utilize, the income that you are bringing in from your assets to take care of all of your monthly expenses, your bills, and have that time and freedom to be able to spend time with your family. I'm currently a youth basketball coach for a local school district, and my son plays. I'm able to spend that quality bonding time with him, right? And there's so many different freedom things that I'm able to do simply because I've built my credit. I've utilized the credit, which is OPM, the bank's money, to be able to leverage to buy assets such as real estate, rental cars, and vending machines. Okay. And that's just a little backstory about me. But one of the things that people really seem to struggle with, especially as a credit repair coach and a credit mentor, a lot of clients have come to me and their utilization on their credit cards was just high. Okay. And this is something that I like to make aware to people so that we can start avoiding those things and we can start putting together strategies in order to get out of that ditch, right? Get out of that hole. Okay. So, what I have for you guys today is I'm going to be going on my whiteboard today, which is something that I normally don't do. So I'm going to share my screen with the whiteboard. Let's see. I got to figure out, like I said, I normally don't do this as far as a whiteboard. So give me a moment and bear with me while I figure out here quickly how to get access to the whiteboard. Okay. And we're going to dive in and give you guys, sort of a live demonstration. A live demonstration on how you can pretty much hide your credit utilization. Okay. So Zoom, I guess, no longer gives you the opportunity to use the whiteboard. Nope, here we are. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Perfect. So we are on the whiteboard today. Okay, perfect. So I am able to show you guys live kind of what we'll be doing with credit utilization. Okay. Now, as this whiteboard loads up, so we're going to be talking about a topic, and the topic's going to be credit utilization. Okay. And bear with me. Like I said, we don't always use the whiteboard, but today we are. Okay. So, for those of you guys watching that are part of the credit community, don't mind the chicken scratch. I'm doing this with, unfortunately, a mouse and a clicker. So, it's not going to be the most organized. All right. But, anyways, we are going to be talking about credit utilization. Okay. Now, credit utilization, a lot of people come to me with, their credit reports. And a lot of times, the major thing that they're dealing with is high credit utilization. Now, I'm going to give you a couple tips and strategies on how we can avoid this and also how we can change this so that this isn't the major factor on our credit report that we're lacking in. Okay. So, just to start off, credit utilization, okay, is one of the 5 factors of credit. Okay, so you have 5 factors of building credit. And I guess I could have used the text here. But you have 5 factors of building credit, right? And one of the major factors of building credit is your credit utilization, which makes up 30% of your credit score. Okay? Now, this makes up 30% of your credit score. So, if you have a 750 or, 600 or 500, 30% of that score is because of your credit utilization. Okay? So, what that means is, and as far as the credit categories, there's 35%, which is your payment history. Okay, so 100% on-time payments. There's credit utilization. There's average credit age, which is another 15%. Okay, this is age. This is payment history. Okay, that's payment history, credit utilization, age. You got your types of credit. Okay. You got your types of credit. And you have your inquiries, which is your credit checks. Okay. Your inquiries. Okay. So, like I said, don't mind a chicken scratch. This is writing with a mouse and a clicker. So, bear with me. So, anyways, payment history, 35%. Credit utilization, 30%. Your average credit age, which is 15%. Types of credit is 10%, and 10% is inquiries. You should know this chart like the back of your hands. Okay. So, as you can see, out of all these categories, 30% is the second highest amount that makes up our credit score. So, credit utilization is a major factor. Okay. So, if we can get our credit utilization under good management, then we can boost our credit score. Okay. Because we can max out this 30% category, right? You could think this is a bunch of points. Payment history is a bunch of points. That's even more because it's 35%. Okay. So forth and so forth. All right, so one of the ways that we can lower our credit utilization is by having multiple credit cards, okay? Okay, because it's basically your overall credit utilization. So if you have, like I have, $150,000 worth of credit capital, okay? and you do the math on that, I'm going to use the calculator really quickly just to give you guys a clear example. And we always want to keep under 30% credit utilization, okay? So if we have $150,000 worth of credit capital, what is 30% of that? Okay, so the way that you would figure that out, obviously, this is simple math for those of you that went to school. 150,000 times, okay, I'm going to do multiplication here, times 0.30, okay? That's going to give me $45,000, okay, that I can use, which is 30%. All right? 150, let's do that one more time. $150,000 times 0.30, okay? Decimal is in the 10th place, so 30% equals $45,000, okay? So the more credit you have, the higher your 30% ratio is going to be, okay? Now, ideally, and why are we talking about 30%, okay? Credit, it's just a coincidence here that our credit category for utilization equals 30% of our score, and also 30% of our overall credit limit is also what we want to stay underneath, okay? If you had $150,000, okay? So the more credit you have, the higher your credit utilization 30% ratio is going to be, okay? That you can actually access without tanking your credit score, okay? Now, ideally, because you will see a lower drop, okay, because this is 30%, which is a lot of points, you want to be under about 10%. So what is 10%? Okay, that should be easy math. That's about 15,000. Okay, 15,000 is 10%. This is 30%. Okay, and I'm starting to like this whiteboard, even though it looks like chicken scratch. But I'm starting to like this whiteboard. Okay, so I can give you guys visuals. Okay, and give you guys visuals. So if we have $150,000 worth of credit capital, which is what we are all aiming to get or more, okay, based on the strategy that I have placed in my course, I teach you guys exactly how to get access to the bank's money, upwards of $150,000 worth of credit capital. That includes, the whole step-by-step strategy, what you need to do, okay? 30% utilization would be 45,000. Okay, this is ideally where we want to be, no more than this. Okay, this is the maximum that we actually want to spend without tanking our credit scores, 30% of our overall credit limit. Okay, now, not ideally, but ideally, we want to have 10% utilization. Okay, 10% utilization or less. Okay, so we don't want to use the whole 150,000 unless we have, business strategies that's going to put this money back fairly quickly. Okay, so we're not paying a lot of interest. Now, typically what we're aiming also to do is use 0% interest credit cards to buy assets with, and we have, typically a year rate or a year time span before that rate decline or increases. Okay, so we have a year to pay back that 15,000 at 0% interest. Typically, if we're getting the right credit cards, the right funding, and we can utilize this 15,000, flip it, make 30,000, and before that 0% APR runs out, and then we can still pay this back and have an extra 15 in our pocket. Okay. So that is the strategy pretty much when it comes to credit. Now, when it comes to credit utilization, simply this is the issue that a lot of people are facing. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips. Now, we're going to state the obvious, which is number one, okay, if you have high utilization, let me see, how do we erase this now? How do we erase this now? Okay, we got the pen, we got the eraser here. Okay, got the eraser. So we're going to erase all this. Boom, we're going to wipe that away. Hopefully you guys got a screenshot of it if you needed it, okay? We talked about the factors. Perfect. Okay, we're erasing all that. Boom. Now we'll hop back on the pen. Okay? Now, the importance of credit utilization and hacks and tips on how to lower this, okay? Number one is the obvious, is you can pay it off, okay? If you have high credit utilization right now, you can pay it off, okay? You could take your time and work your job, okay? And you could pay it off. Okay, you could take your time, you could work your 9 to 5 and you could pay this off and that'll boost your credit score, okay? Simple. Pay it off. Now, that's not really a tip or a strategy. That's just simply, what you should do if you have high credit utilization. If your credit limit is only $1,000 for the sake of numbers, and you have, 50% utilization, which is $500 usage, you need to pay it down to at least 300 or less, okay? Because that would be 30%. Ideally you want to be at 10%, so you want to pay it down to about $100, okay? $1,000 limit, you should only be using 300 to 100 to $300 maximum, okay? And you want to pay that off before the due date so you're not accruing interest, okay? So simple, pay it off. Now, you can have multiple credit cards open like me, okay? And you could spread that debt amongst your multiple credit cards. So if you have $1,000 credit card, okay? This one's 1,000. You got another one, that's 1,000. Okay? You got another one, that's 1,000. Okay, now you got $3,000 worth of credit capital, and you still have that $500 debt, okay? $500 debt. Instead of you being at 50% utilization now, okay, which is 50%, instead of you being at 50%, you can spread this balance out. Okay, so if you're at $500 on one card, you can spread this balance out amongst these cards. So now maybe you're at 150 here, you're at 150 here, okay, which is 15% utilization, 15% utilization. And then here, you're at, or not 15%, but you know what I mean. So you're at, yeah, about 10% utilization, maybe 12% utilization on these two credit cards. And then on this one, you're at 300. This one's at 30%. Or, yeah, so this would be 200. Sorry. So this would be 20%. So you're still under 30% on each card. Okay. Still under 30% on each card, which is what you want. Okay. Spread that utilization out. Don't have it all on one credit card and you're at 50% utilization, which is tanking your credit score. Okay. Now, overall, you have 3,000 on your credit report. So your overall utilization would be low, but on a specific card, you'll be at 50% utilization. If you were to go apply for another card with that specific bank, they're going to say your utilization is too high. Okay. So you want to spread out that utilization, especially if we're going to be stacking credit, okay? And that $500 balance shouldn't be too hard to pay off, okay? Now, when you're getting into higher numbers, it's going to be a lot more difficult because you're paying off 10, 15,000, okay? So it's a little bit different. That's why we're buying assets with the money so that we can easily pay back those balances, okay? Now, another way is going to be requesting credit limit increases. So if you had that same 1,000 that we just demonstrated, you can go into your app on whatever bank that credit card is with, and typically you can request a credit limit increase. Okay? You can request a credit limit increase. Now, because you're utilizing so much of your credit limit and you're paying it off in a fair amount of time, they're going to see that you need a credit limit increase. Okay. Your balances are higher than your 30% ratios. Okay. And if you do that repeatedly, which is a strategy that we utilize, is creating high balances. Okay. Whether it be buying gift cards or whatever we're doing to create those balances. And then we're taking that money and paying it back so that they can see, hey, this person, we are utilizing a lot of our credit limit. Okay, and we're paying it back off. We're not one of those people that are just carrying the balance and, keeping interest all the time and making late payments, etc. We're paying it on time at least. Okay? Now, if we're one of those people that create high balances and pay them off, guess what? It's going to show them that we need a credit limit increase, and we're going to be able to increase our credit limit through whatever banking app that we're utilizing. So if you have Capital One, in the Capital One app, specifically, you can go to, manage your account, and then you can go to request a credit limit increase. Okay? And you can request a increase. Okay, so that is going to boost your overall credit utilization, which is going to make your balance ratio seem a lot lower. Okay? Okay, credit limit increase. Now, that's kind of the given. Okay, you could pay it, you could spread it amongst the other credit cards to stretch it out, or you can request credit limit increases. That's kind of given ways and strategies to lower your credit utilization. But let me give you some tips, okay? And the tips are going to be authorized users, okay? Which is one of the things that we offer in our credit community. We offer authorized user trade lines, okay? Authorized user trade lines. Authorized user trade lines are going to help you to increase that credit utilization without credit utilization without going to get a credit inquiry or anything of that sort. Okay, authorized user trade lines are going to help you to increase your credit limits. This is something that we offer. So let's say you only have $1,000 credit card on your profile. Okay, what we do is we're going to add an authorized user to your account. Okay, so it's going to report on your credit. So I myself, with my $150,000 credit limits, is going to call my bank. Okay, one of the banks is Navy Federal, and I have a $20,000 credit limit. Okay, so adding a $20,000 credit limit to your profile, okay, is going to now make your overall credit utilization 21,000. Okay, going to make it 21,000. So now your $500 balance that you had on this credit card that was only 1,000 is going to look minimal. Okay, because now you have $21,000 available to you on your profile, and you're only using 500. Okay, so that's probably like a 1% utilization or something of that sort, right? So you're fairly low. It's going to automatically drop your utilization, which is going to increase your credit score significantly. Okay, so that's another way, another hack. And if you have grandma, auntie, anybody in your family that have high credit limits, you can ask them to, make you an authorized user. But AUs is a secret hack in order to get access to high credit utilization, which is going to help fix your credit score. Okay, now another one is going to be a debt consolidation loan. Okay, a debt consolidation loan. Now, one of the platforms that I recommend for debt consolidation, sorry, give me a moment to write this. And once again, I am using a mouse and a clicker, so this is not going to look super professional here, but debt consolidation, okay? One of the platforms that I recommend for debt consolidation is going to be Upstart, okay? Upstart pulls from all three bureaus. And this is basically a debt consolidation company. Okay, so you can apply with Upstart. They do have, actually, I might be able to share with you real quickly here. And we'll go into share my screen. Let me see, make sure you guys can get this. Okay. All right. So Upstart, we'll go to Google and we'll go to Upstart. Okay. Upstart is a personal loan debt consolidation company. And they basically allow you to get a soft pull application. Okay. You can check your rate. You see the button down here. You can check your rate and you can see whether or not you can get access to a debt consolidation loan. Now, this is for people with lower credit scores. Okay. And when you go in here, you'll be required to log in or create a login. But you'll be able to do an application. They'll check your credit, soft pull. And if you're approved, you'll get an offer for a couple different rates and loans. Okay. And those rates and loans can be used to pay back whatever balances are high on your credit cards. Okay. So you can consolidate all that debt. And the beautiful thing about consolidating credit card debt is it gets turned into an installment loan. Okay. And we talked about the difference of installment credit and revolving credit. Okay. And the difference here is basically with revolving credit, that's like your credit cards and your lines of credit where you can draw from it and you can pay it back. Okay. And then you still have access to the complete limit. Now, a installment loan, okay, is like an auto loan or a student loan, okay, where you're paying on a monthly basis and eventually you pay it off and it falls off your credit, okay? Now, what we want to do is turn that revolving debt, okay, revolving credit card debt into an installment loan, okay? So it's a one-time loan and we pay on it monthly and eventually it gets paid off. Now, the beautiful thing about that is an installment loan and a revolving line of credit report differently to the credit bureaus. So utilization is not a factor, okay, when it comes to installment loans, okay? It's a completely different ballgame. So let's say you have a auto loan, right? And that auto loan is maxed out, right? When you just bought your car, now you have about $10,000 or $20,000 worth of debt, okay? Now, because it's in the shape of an auto loan, it doesn't report the same. It doesn't say 100% utilization on a credit card balance, okay? It just says an installment loan and it talks about your monthly payment. They're more focused on that monthly payment, okay? And it's not so much of utilization when it comes to installment loans, which is great. So that's why you want to use a personal loan or a debt consolidation loan to consolidate the debt that's on credit cards because credit cards report differently. They're more concerned about that utilization. Okay. So transferring it into an installment loan is going to be another solid tip for you guys to be able to increase your credit score. Now, let's bear with me here and let's get back to our whiteboard. Let's get back to our whiteboard. All right. Okay. Show meeting. We'll stop sharing for a second and we'll hop back on the whiteboard. Okay. So, we talked about, let me see if we could pull up the old one. We talked about consolidating that debt. We talked about utilizing AUs, right? We talked about utilizing authorized users to mitigate how much debt we're using. And we also want to talk about utilizing, which is the last thing, is business credit. Okay. Business credit is going to be the best way to hide your utilization. Okay. But this requires you to obviously have a business and have that business funded prior to having any credit card debt. So this is like a strategy that if you're not in credit card debt right now and you're not trying to get out of it, then you're going to utilize business credit. You're going to start structuring your business like we teach in the course, and you're going to start structuring your business credit so that way you have excess trade lines on the business side. And the beautiful thing about business credit is it does not report to the personal. Okay. So business credit does not report to the personal side. So all your debt utilization that is on your business credit cards or business loans, that doesn't show up on your personal credit score. Okay. So you have 0% utilization on your personal credit score, but on your business credit, you'll have a lot of lines of credit and you might be utilizing a lot of it. You might be utilizing 100% of your business credit. Okay. But like I mentioned, the beautiful thing is it doesn't report to your personal. So how you hide your debt utilization is to move it over to the business side. Okay. This is why we teach you guys how to structure an LLC. We teach you guys, what all you need. We have a whole checklist in order for you to complete to be able to get access to business credit. Now, once you get access to business credit, a lot of times the business credit is 0% interest. Okay. So you're essentially creating your own debt consolidation loans by having a business. Okay. And structuring the business properly, getting access to business funding. Now, if you have personal credit card debt, you can move that personal credit card debt over to the business side. And now it's going to show 0% utilization on your personal credit score, which is going to allow you to get approved for more business lines of credit, more personal credit cards, more, auto loans, etc. Okay. And which you can leverage to then either buy assets or more income streams. And that'll help you pay off the debt that's on those business credit cards that you just moved it over to. Okay. So business credit is the biggest strategy that a lot of people are underutilizing or not utilizing at all. Okay. So if we are in the process of repairing your credit, the most important thing for you to do is start structuring your business so that you can get access to business credit. That way in the future, if you have any debt that you have, that $500 balance on that credit card, like we talked about before, you can move that $500 balance, and this is just for the sake of numbers, to your business credit card. That might be $10,000. And nobody that pulls your credit is going to see this balance. Okay. Maybe you might even have a $1,500 balance or, a $5,500 balance. Okay. If you move that over here to the business credit side, your personal credit will not be affected. Okay. It'll be 0 on your personal credit, which is great. Okay. Because now you can get approved for loans. You can get approved for pretty much anything that you need to get approved for. And it's not going to report to your personal credit. Okay. So hopefully you guys are understanding this. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. I know we jumped a lot over the place. This was the first time that we used the whiteboard. So hopefully you guys did get some value. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along. Hopefully you guys took some screenshots, right? Because we kind of erased some stuff. We put some stuff on the whiteboard. Okay. But this is how we're going to minimize our credit utilization. Okay. I gave you guys a bunch of strategies here. And a lot of you guys are dealing with debt utilization issues. And this is how we're going to complete that. Okay. Now, if the debt is already in collections, if it's charged off already, okay, I taught you guys how to repair your credit. Okay. In the course, I gave you guys the strategy, and we have a software. Okay. And the software basically removes all your negative items. Okay. All you have to do is input specific information. Make sure you have a copy of your ID, a copy of a proof of address document, and we submit that in the form of a dispute letter, and we issue that to all 3 credit bureaus utilizing our software. Okay. So if you have access to the software, It's only going to take a maximum of about 3 months. Okay. And I said maximum. Okay. Typically, we see results in less than a month. Okay. Because in the first round, we're typically getting majority of your items deleted. But it's not going to take long before your credit is back at zero and you have a fresh start. And we start adding your credit builders, and then we start building up those credit limits and getting access to high limit funding. And then in the meantime, while you're repairing your credit, we are establishing a business. Okay? We're establishing a business so that you can start getting business funding prior to even getting big limits. Okay? So that way you have a business already, it's seasoning, and then when it comes time to apply for business credit cards, you're already ready to go. Okay, and we don't go net 30s and we don't do all those store cards, right? I teach you guys how to fast track the process of getting business credit and getting actual business lines of credit from the major banks. Okay, and I teach you what they require. So do not skip out on this information. Okay, we have these calls every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you need help, make sure you comment in the comment section, help, and I'll send you guys the link in order to get started. Okay. Once again, if you got some value, click that like button, like, comment, and subscribe because we will be dropping new videos every Sunday. So don't miss out on any videos by subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications so that you get the notification anytime we drop brand new videos. And I hope to see you guys on the next call. All of my community members get access to each and every one of our calls. They get the recordings and they get to hop on live and ask any questions that they have. So take advantage of that opportunity while you can. And I will see you guys on the inside. I'll see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. With that being said, I'm out.